Hi, welcome back to Call for Wisdom. My name is Deborah, and I would love to talk to my sisters right now about the elephant in the room, something that happens a lot of times in relationships when you've been married for a while, that you will eventually catch your man flirting with another woman. He's either going to do it on the street in front of you in a public area, or you might catch him one day on the phone texting, laughing, responding to another woman's comment or DMs, and you at first let it pass. You thought maybe it was a sister, maybe it was something innocent, but now it's continually happening, and you find it all the time, and it's triggering you. It's triggering you, and you've probably broke the what I'm going to say already, and you let him off. You let him have it, and I'm asking you, is that appropriate? You're going to tell me, yeah, but welcome to Call for Wisdom. My name is Deborah, and on this channel, I support biblical marriage, and it's all about that. And I'm going to surprise some of you in the internet world who don't know that biblically, a man is allowed to have more than one wife. I said that quickly, so I don't want you to go away because part of the solution of what to do is to know the truth about it. hmm So first of all, let's just talk about the common reactions of what people say you should do and how you should respond back to it. Yep.
Men that be flirting with women. They just flirt with they got a woman, they married. But women come in the room, they be like, "Oh, you look pretty." Yeah, they do in front of their wife because they stupid. I don't even have a better word for it.
Yeah.
Sitting here giving all of these compliments to another woman in front of your wife. That man is ignorant. So what happens? I'm gonna tell you what ended up happening anyway. The lady started getting insecure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She got self-esteem issues now because my man always upping other women in front of me, saying, "Oh, you amazing. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." Because there's some ignorant men that do that. They compliment other women in front of their wife. Don't do it, men. If you don't
Right.
know better, you don't do that. You don't compliment another woman in front of your wife because I'm telling you, these women now you didn't cause some kind of division between the two women because there are some women can't take that. They can't deal with that. Like I am not insecure, but a lot of women cannot take you affirming, complimenting another woman. So that flirtatious man is literally giving her self-esteem issues.
Right.
I'm telling you, y'all got
And that's
y'all.
just rude. I'm
It's just
sorry. It's
rude
rude.
and
It's
it's
rude.
ignorant. You got them inappropriate men that be flirting with
Okay,
women.
let's
They
dissect
just
that.
flirt with
Let's
with they
let's
got a woman
dissect that. Let's dissect that
giving
because
all of these compliments to another woman in front.
so the question is it wrong for a man to give compliments, you said, to another woman in front of her? Well, he's going to do it anyway, right? But the full pact is that he's doing it in front of her and in front of a wife. And I wonder what you think. I mean, let me know in the comments below. Do you think that's inappropriate for a man who's married to be complimenting another woman in front of his wife? Hmm? But in this topic, I'm going to tell you what to do. If you are Yah-fearing believer, a sister, a woman who knows Yah and believes God and wants to follow the Torah, the Bible, I want to tell you that there's another way, and this is the goal to move you away from the way the world is telling you to react and the way that the Bible and the Torah and the Word of God tells you to react, because you have to ground your reaction based on the truth, not ground your reaction based on your emotions. Because when we give ourselves permission to follow our emotions, we're going to be led into chaos, and it's going to destroy your marriage, which eventually lead to bitter women and divorce. You know the path. You know the path. But if we allow ourselves to be anchored in the word, in the Bible, in the truth, that is what is true, then you can now rest in that and push your emotions to follow that path, not what the world is saying, not what your emotions are saying. My emotions go up and down based on all kinds of factors, your hormones, your age. Maybe this woman is prettier, right? The man comes by and he acknowledges that there's a pretty woman, a beautiful woman, and he compliments her. Now, the first thing he should do, possibly, is know that she's available, right? So you got to be careful. Men, the brothers on this channel know that. But it's not up to you either to judge that, my sisters, because you don't know what's within his heart and you have no idea who she is either, most likely. Not yet, right? So the whole point is that you catch your man on the phone, you were sneaking on his phone too. That's another topic. Like, don't pick up your man's phone and take a look. Please don't do that. Don't do that. It's not appropriate, and it's also not your position to be the monogamy police, which is another episode coming along. But this is Deborah. On Call for Wisdom, we talk about biblical marriage. And in biblical marriage, men have the biblical option to take on more than one woman. And in order to take on more than one woman as a wife, he first has to find the woman attractive. So Yah gave men eyes and they gave them testosterone to naturally be attracted to beauty, a beautiful woman. And if you think about it in the Bible, in the Torah, the Old Testament, and even in the New, there's a lot of beautiful women mentioned. There was Sarah, there's Abigail for that met David met Abigail when he had other women, by the way, otherwise, and then he saw how beautiful Abigail was as well. And there's a long story there. There's Sarah for Abraham was also a beautiful woman. Listen, there's also the case law in the Bible, and I will pull that up for you a little bit later here, where Yah acknowledges that when Israel goes to war and they win, obviously, there's called spoils of war. And part of the spoils of war are captives. And if a man sees a captive woman that he finds beautiful, he is allowed to take her home. So the Torah gives permission for a man to not just take her home, but also to wife her. Like he can take her home as a slave, right? And biblical slavery is a different topic, but it's allowed. But he could, in those cases, take her home to be a wife, and Yah gives him permission and how to do that and instructions on how to do that, which also justifies and says that Yah has put um, borders around polygyny, how to do it, but it's not forbidden. It is an option that a man has. And obviously, if she's a captive and they won the war, most likely the brothers and the father are dead, right? That's what happens in war. So she's a spoil of war. So Deuteronomy 21:10-14 is the one I'm trying to quote here. And that particular one, go ahead and read it. Deuteronomy chapter 21:10-14. If a man sees a woman of a beautiful form among the captives, she's beautiful in his eyes. He is able to flirt with her, but even beyond flirting with her, he can take her home. This gives us the instruction that Yah acknowledges that men can see beauty in women, and he can do more than just flirt. He can actually propose. I mean, if you think this is like you can't handle that, what are you going to do when the proposal comes? And I'm warning you, sisters, that as men are waking up to the fact that polygyny is a biblical option, they are going to more than flirt. Y'all fairy men are going to start proposing because fornication is when he's just using her for his sexual desire and not giving her a covenant commitment of marriage, right? So, but it first comes with being attractive. You have to first like the car before you buy the car. You first have to visualize, oh, I can see myself with this person because they fit into my household, and I can see her working with the children, and I can see myself having sex with her in the sense of sexually attracted to her. As a man, I'm saying, that's what he thinks. So it first comes there. So let's not be hypocritical and call that lust. That is not lust. And if you don't know what all this discussion about lust is and a biblical polygyny, I'm not really going to go through the scriptures to defend it right now. I've done that in my past episodes, and I might leave a link at the end for you to go follow that, and also follow my community posts on Call for Wisdom, which I have a lot of theological articles about it. So take a look and scroll down, you'll find one. But if a man sees a beautiful woman, he can take her, according to Deuteronomy again, Deuteronomy 2:21, 10-14. And there's other scriptures pertaining to that. He sees her, he finds her beauty, and he can be attracted to her. So Torah does not rebuke a man for noticing another woman's beauty. It rebukes him if he lusts after another woman that belongs to another man, because in his heart, he's coveting something that doesn't belong to him. So the sin only comes when the woman is not available, not single. But if a single woman, he's attracted to that and he's flirting with that, that's a different thing. Now, we can say, well, he's flirting without the intention of marrying her. You don't know, right? You don't know. And it's also not your position to know, as women, as wives, what the man's intentions are. You were like crossing lines in our imagination that Yah didn't give us permission to do. So I have seen no examples in the Bible of women cursing off and telling off their husbands for taking on another wife. Not a zero examples of that, right? So I don't see what David's wives, and he had wives before he met Bathsheba. I don't see them cursing him off before he met Bathsheba. And even if he did it wrong with Bathsheba the first time, and that's a different story, none of them divorced him that we know of. None of them cursed him out because it was none of their business. Him flirting with her, he should have married her. Sorry, he shouldn't have touched her. She was a married woman and he committed adultery. And y'all spoke to him about that. And that's the definition of adultery. When a man takes another man's wife, that's when David crossed the line. And the prophet Nathaniel in the story, and that's in First Samuel, he he rebuked David through Yah's message that he had then committed adultery when he took another man's wife, not for the fact that he had several other wives, because the other wives were legitimate wives in the past. He had taken them righteously without stealing them from another man. But when he crossed the line and took Bathsheba at that time, stole and killed Uriah, oh, that was a sin. And Yah rebuked him for that. And he said, on top of that, that I would have given you more wives had you asked. Like you didn't have to go steal. So my point is that the attraction comes first. The flirting from a man comes first. In the Bible, that is not the problem. The problem is actually if she is married or not. And again, as a woman, not your issue to be criticizing the man yet, because he's just checking it out. And he has to use discretion. We have to use discretion. And we have to base our emotions and anchor them on the truth. You cannot accuse him of sin for having eyes. You cannot police his natural instinct. You should not be the monogamy police. Nobody's paying you for that, and it's going to lead to divorce. You cannot make demands that contradict Torah. If Torah says that biblical polygamy, a man's right to have more than one wife, is legit, which it is, you're allowed to, it's an option. And even if you think he's not ready, none of your business. He can do what he wants. He's allowed to explore that. And it first comes with attraction. And again, the brothers will speak to the brothers about how they move on from that attraction, because there's a fine line between planning to fornicate and planning to marry, right? Two totally different things here. And we will talk about that later. But I'm not speaking to the brothers because Call for Wisdom is a Bible study for sisters, okay? So, in terms of him simply saying, hey, sexy, maybe not use the word sexy, but hey, beautiful, you look good. And laughing and joking about that with another woman because he's pursuing her, he's interested in her. And you oversee that, you look over his shoulder like, oh my goodness, that is not disrespect like this woman is talking about here. That is not at all, nothing to do with you. And then now we got into the topic of being comparison, comparing yourself to another woman and taking it so personal that if you think that if he is attracted to another woman, he no longer is attracted to you. And that is a lie. That's a lie. Men are capable of being attracted to several different types of women at the same time. It's like this, and I like this analogy. Imagine you, my sisters, are ice cream. You like ice cream, men like ice cream too. And you are vanilla because you're the first wife. And most first wives are the vanilla. Vanilla is nice. It's safe. It's pure. It has a little bit of dash of innocence to it, and just pure rich ice cream, rich cream. Really nice. He bought the cow. He bought the cow because he likes your ice cream. Okay, great. And in the shop, there's other flavors, other women, potentially single women available. And he is simply there at the counter saying, that rum and raisin, girl, that sounds good. That sounds good. But he still likes the vanilla, but he's checking out also the chocolate. Chocolate might potentially taste good. Now he's not allowed to have samples, okay, in this analogy. Like he's not allowed to go and lick it. And I'm not trying to be perverted, but he's not allowed to like test it. There's no testing like that. But he can desire it. Okay? He can desire it. We're not talking about hookup. He's not talking about fornication. But he can desire having another flavor of ice cream. It doesn't matter if he can't afford the ice cream at the time. It's not your business, my sisters, if he can't afford to buy another scoop because he has vanilla and he got vanilla, but he can desire. And what's the beautiful thing about desiring is that it motivates a man now to work harder, to be on his mission and his calling, and to do the things that his master, his head over him, has called him to do in hopes of one day having the means to buy the rum and raisin ice cream or the chocolate one that he saw and he desired. And he goes back one day down the road and he purchases it. So, my sisters, my vanilla sisters, my first wife sisters, I'm speaking to you. Stop, stop, stop. Take a deep breath. When you see that, I know you're programmed, you're pre programmed to react in a certain way because you've been watching too much of the world. You've been seeing the world. You came from the world. You've been doing this for years. It's your instinctive trigger to tell him off, to criticize him, to say, "You don't love me. How can you look at this woman, look at me?" Although you know that she does look a little bit younger. You have to admit she's beautiful. And that's the whole point. Let's reprogram our mind to respond in different ways based on the Torah, based on the word of Yah, based on the fact that he legally has permission to desire another woman. How he goes about doing that is a different story, but he has permission to do that. He has that option in the Bible. So, how do I respond to his options? Well, number one thing is that I do not get jealous of his options because I don't have a right to go look at another man. He is my one husband. I'm not allowed to go flirt with another man. He is my one husband. I'm not allowed to do the things that he can do biblically. Okay, acknowledge that. High five. My husband, you got permission from the Most High, not even from me. You can also notice the fact that the woman is beautiful. He got good taste. You can tell him that. Yeah, I can see she's beautiful. You have good taste. I can see. That's why you got me too. I mean, of course, you got good taste. You could acknowledge the fact that, I could see you down the road potentially having another wife, dare I say. Because you got good taste and I can see the qualities that you're seeing in her. And you can ask him, yeah, tell me about her if he feels like it in a safe place because you're not going to criticize him. If you genuinely, genuinely care for that question, if you don't want to hear the answer, don't ask. Do not ask. If it's going to trigger your more deeper down comparison, don't ask. But you can compliment, you can acknowledge that he has good taste. You can encourage him that, yeah, let's build up to that. I'm working on my emotions of my own self too, and ask him to pray for you. Like, let's pray for that because the spirit of jealousy is not allowed to be in me, coveting and envious of a man's role and position that I am not given because this is not. I'm not a man. I am not. I'm a woman, and under his headship, I have no position like him. So let's pray together so that goes away. And when you start aligning yourself and your emotions to the word and asking your husband for help in that in terms of prayer and discussion, like voice it with him in a respectful way, and confessing these deep down comparisons, like you feel insecure because you're a little overweight and you just had a baby 5 minutes ago, but you want to be a 20-year-old again and you're now hitting 45 and you're comparing yourself, and this is not good. It's like rum and raisin comparing yourself to vanilla ice cream. Both of you are beautiful ice creams. Nothing. Stop comparison. Stop the comparison. Learn to stand in who you are. Be the best version of you. Get yourself fit, but not so that you can distract the man from wanting another woman because he'll always want more ice cream. On that note, I'm going to hit you guys back later. Leave me a comment below. What do you think? How should you react when your man is flirting with the idea of polygyny, biblically allowed to have more than one wife? What do you think? How should you react? Let me know. And if you've ever gone through this and need some help, you can leave me an email. My email is mycallforwisdom@yahoo.com. Follow my channel. Always check out the community posts where I put a lot of theological teachings for sisters. And if you have a husband, ask permission with your husband first. Follow the protocols. Okay. Love you all. Blessings, my sisters.